Alright, we need a theme song.
We don't have a theme song.
Contextually yours.
Oh, it is so good.
It's pretty bad.
Okay. So the name of the show is Contextually Yours, and we are sitting around the table today. It is myself, Griffin Mayer, and of course, as always, Mr. Jeffrey Simmons.
It's a living.
Yeah, and today we are joined by one Mr. Mike Jones. Say hi, Mike.
Hello, it's me, Mike.
Mike is a billionaire playboy in his spare time, and ladies, he's got a Bugatti. If you know what that means. Yeah.
I have no idea what that means. What does that mean?
Oh, it's a car.
Oh,
It's one of them fancy cars.
oh,
It's a
nice.
fast car.
Yeah,
That's nice.
they cost a lot, so you know they're good.
Yeah. Well, when they're hard to pronounce, that means they're more expensive.
Yeah, like I don't even know what nationality that would be. Like, what is that? Is that Italian?
I think
French?
it's Italian.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
I could be wrong.
You can
Yeah.
eat that mic, by the way. You can.
Yes.
get closer.
Preferably.
Hey,
Yeah.
is that better?
You can adjust that
Oh, yeah.
any way that you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you were recently out of the country.
I was, yeah.
Tell us where you went.
I was in Lebanon for a few days, and then Jordan for a day, and then Israel for the next 2 weeks.
Jesus fucking Christ! Like, what is that?
That's
like?
where he's from.
From all three places.
Is that general area?
I was
Yeah.
born on the intersecting border, so I was born in all three places at once. To
Yeah.
where
Oh no, I meant
Right in
Jesus. He
Oh.
said Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh.
So I said that's where. Yeah.
you got that. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people that
I went over my head.
will listen to this will get the joke before you guys.
Oh.
They're smart.
Yeah.
So, like, I imagine that whole side of the world just being explosions and gunfire. Like, I mean, and I'm just a fucking white privileged kid living in the burbs.
White privilege.
So, like, what's it really like?
Okay, so Lebanon, and I didn't go to all the places in these places, but Lebanon, I was in.
That'd be hard to do.
Yeah, I was in Beirut, and that is where they've sent a ton of refugees. So the refugee neighborhoods that we were filming in were pretty sketchy, kind of,
Oh, no doubt.
crime and lots of garbage. Just you feel really bad. It's a whole nother side of the world.
Yeah.
So, like, no shooting.
Definitely.
No bombs.
They have bombs. I didn't run into any, luckily, but you hear a few terrorist cases every now and then in Beirut, and then same thing with Israel. But Israel's like super well guarded now. Even the security just for us to get in that country took fucking forever.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
That's pretty wild. So, but you didn't officially deal with rockets flying over your head or anything.
No, I didn't have to do that. Luckily.
That's good. That's very good.
So is that? So there's a general tension the whole time. Is that, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling that something bad could happen. We're the place we were at in Israel for most of the time was a place called Kiryat Shmona, and weirdly enough, they have no fucking clue how to spell it apparently, because there's on just road signs there's 20 different spellings of Kiryat Shmona.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's different spellings in English characters, or how
well,
does that work?
Even on
I
just
don't even-
their road signs, a lot of them spell it with Q and U, and then the mayor spelled it with a K, and then our hotel spelled it with a K, but then it's weird. I don't
So
understand.
it's a lot like New Orleans. Just makes sense.
Same thing.
I get it.
But that city was it was right on the Syrian and Lebanon border, and they all fucking just hate each other, and so
Yeah.
they apparently that place gets bombed every now and then, so that was it was kind of sketchy, but I didn't see anything luckily.
So being in
Wow.
you were in Jerusalem, so Did you get to go visit any like of the crazy holy sites and all that stuff?
Yeah, I got to see a lot of the places where Jesus went. So like the place, Garden of Yosemite, where he was like captured, and then his like the rock that they cleaned his body on, like after he got killed, you know. And
Wow.
then let's see, the place where he turned water into wine, and the place of the sea where they said he walked on the sea, which I have no idea how they memorized that, but. So those places, it's cool seeing it.
I'm just imagining
So-
some sort of strategic markers like laid on a shorefront or something like that.
Yeah, probably just somebody flagging the areas, walking behind them.
So we didn't actually mention like why. Well,
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Why were you in these places? Just on a whim?
I was working on a Syrian refugee film, like a documentary about Syrian refugees, and
Well, that's pretty rad.
yeah, it was cool experience. So a lot of editing to be done, but we're trying to get a families out of, you know, it's about like getting families out of Lebanon and into like America and settling them here.
Nice.
So
Oh wow.
that's the
Was there some funding through like the college through like MSU on that?
No, they're that's a separate project. MSU's taken a few students to Jordan, the place where I think Amman, which is like the place where I was at. To, I think it's about like a German doctor there working on Syrian refugees.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah,
what
I
they're doing.
donated to that. I remember seeing
Oh,
that.
cool.
Yeah, so shooting these documentaries, I always see like Vice especially, where I'm like, I'd really love to go do that, but I don't know how I could handle it. Like, I don't know, like, if there's this like romanticism about it, you know, like you see those documentaries and you're like, you can be helping, and then on the other hand, there's a really crazy juxtaposition there, because you're like, you may feel like you're helping, but you're shooting video, and you may not feel that way. Like at the moment,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm worthless, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you get that? Like, how's it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like when you're there and you see like all of the devastation and destruction and like all these families living in like a terrible way, and you're just like filming one family, it's like, am I really even doing that much, you know? But
Yeah.
you just hope like your film reaches a number of people and people get invested in trying to help these people, because, you know, everybody talks about it, nobody really does that much to help these people. So hopefully, you know,
Yeah.
projects like that could get people moved to do.
Yeah, I just kind of jumped right into that. I just got deep just to be.
You did. Like, I'm over here just wondering, like, if I had to shit in a hole, could I take that? You know? Like,
Right. Yeah, I'm like fascinated with that. I would love to do that kind of work. I just can't ever get paid for it. So
Yeah,
So-
that's the tricky part.
yeah,
maybe we could join the Peace Corps and just like
yeah.
say, hey, this is what we want to
Hey,
do.
that's the next step, right? Like that's.
I just want to get my student loans forgiven. Like,
There you go.
that's it.
So, what kind of work do you do? Like, what is it? All documentary stuff? Is it?
Whatever I can get paid for.
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
You know, weddings, commercials, or like the short film that Griffin and I were working on.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And, you know, I'm still in college, so I'm still working like a 9-to-5 job too. So, you know, just any freelance I can get on the side.
He's still got passion. It hasn't been sucked out of him.
Oh, you poor child. Poor child.
That's good. Keep that momentum. Like, keep it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm begging you, keep that momentum. Seriously.
It's when you get old and curmudgeon-y and
Yeah. So, as far as the like, what could we see? Like, anybody listening to this, what could they look up? What that you've done so far?
That's a good question. I don't even have like a page set up, which I really need to do that because I'm planning on going like full freelance sometime soon. But I know the 2 documentaries that I've done, like Out of Country, World Missions Alliance has done them, and I think that that's like on their website.
Oh, okay.
You know? But Yeah. Other than that, like usually when I'm trying to find jobs, I just send people videos personally so they can see my work. So, but I need to have a site set up. Don't know why I haven't done that.
You got to work that social media angle.
And if we had a sponsor, we would go ahead and like mention that right now.
Yeah.
But we're not going to.
Because
see that?
we don't have a sponsor.
They have to pay us first. So fuck you, brand I'm not going to mention.
Well, our friend Andy was going to write that company that makes the corn flavored soda.
Ew.
Soda that tastes like sweet corn. We're going to try to get them as a sponsor.
I didn't know there was a market for that.
There's not really. Like, I don't really. What would you mix that with? Like, what kind of alcohol goes good with corn soda?
Well, I don't know what kind of alcohol, but I would think that people who are high would be the primary market.
There we go. Now,
Like that would be.
You think so? I feel like if I was stoned, that'd be disgusting.
Well, maybe.
It depends on your geographical location, I think.
But aren't you going to be more interested? Like,
Yeah.
are you going to
maybe.
try it?
Denver might work out pretty good with that.
I was stoned in Nebraska. I'd try it.
If we can get more states on board with legalizing recreational marijuana.
How many are we at?
Yeah.
That is a great question.
That is a good
not
question.
that many.
12?
Let's see. Let's find out.
I do know that since it's not legal federally, there's a whole lot of fucking problems.
Yeah.
Guy that went on disability for he's having seizures or something, and he's like he's wheelchair bound now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I heard about the story secondhand, but the company he works for, he went on disability or tried to go on disability. He got prescribed weed,
Yeah.
and then they did a drug test and they fired him, even though it's completely legal.
Yeah.
They fired him, and he can't get disability because of it being a federal like agency or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
There's another guy who's a veteran, cannot get the VA hospital to do anything because they're federal. Like, and
Jeez. And they're
weed's
all
the only thing that like helps him because he's got like severe PTSD, and like the other meds they had him on just had him just like he couldn't function during the day.
Yeah.
Even though they helped him sleep at night, and if he can get up and smoke, and then he can go back to sleep, and then the next day he can actually function. But yet he can't get prescribed it, or it's legal, but he can't get prescribed it because of the VA. He'd have to get it through the VA.
Yeah.
So it's like some crazy shit going on.
It looks like there are currently 8 states in the union.
Is that it?
Maine, Massachusetts, which I had no idea about. Colorado.
Yeah, maybe those people in Boston will chill out.
Dude, seriously. Alaska, California, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington.
I wasn't expecting Alaska.
Yeah, like, I mean, what else are you going to do? It's cold as fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
Just hang out and smoke some weed.
What's up with the cost of living in Alaska?
Well, for one, an interesting point about Alaska, most people don't realize this. If you live in the state, they will pay you to live there.
Really?
Yes. Due to the fact that it is an oil-rich area, they actually pay their citizens a stipend, and the fact that it's fucking balls cold and the real estate's frozen. But yeah, they will actually pay. They pay each citizen a stipend to fucking just being a resident.
Huh. I wonder how much the stipend is, because those houses are crazy expensive.
Yeah, but absolutely freaking beautiful area. Like, seems like the whole Pacific Northwest is just balls expensive.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really, everywhere outside of Missouri is kind of expensive when you compare it to Missouri. So it's
the Midwest is like pretty much, except Chicago. Like the whole Midwest, other than Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's at one point it was getting close to like San Francisco's prices.
Jeez.
Until San Francisco just fucking skyrocketed.
Yeah, San Francisco's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Apparently it's fluctuating, but the last large payout looks like that was as of 2014. Each resident got $1,884 payout in royalty for oil. Just to the average citizen.
$1,000 a year?
No,
Or
like
a month?
a year, like total, like
Yeah.
in that particular royalty payout.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Still,
Yeah.
Extra $1,000.
yeah, hell yeah.
I'll take it.
And the land, like just the whole landscape in Alaska is like fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's a win-win.
And
like
and
fuck
people
this.
people are probably a lot more down to earth, like a lot cooler out there because they got to deal with so much shit
Yeah.
in the winter.
Probably.
I guess that really does depend on geographically where you're at too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's colder in some areas.
What did Arkansas didn't they just legalize like medical use really recently?
yeah.
I
they
thought I heard
did.
something about that.
Yep.
Which is interesting
did,
because
it's-
that doesn't surprise me, or
Yeah.
that doesn't peg me something Arkansas
I'm
would do.
sorry, Arkansas. We made fun of you for so long up here. We made fun of you for so fucking long,
You're
and
moving ahead
you're
of
better
us.
than us.
You are.
Like,
Okay, so yeah, it looks like they did medical marijuana.
Oh, okay. How hard? It's not even that hard to get a medical marijuana subscription or prescription, isn't it?
I have no idea. I've
it
never.
depends. In California, when it was just medical, it was like easy as fuck.
That's what I heard.
They just walk in and be like, "My head hurts."
Yeah.
Here you go.
I wonder if it's
Yeah.
like that in Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Looks like there
It
are.
probably is in
For
Eureka
Arkansas,
Springs.
there are actually 17 qualifying conditions, which include cancer, Tourette's syndrome, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, post-traumatic stress disorder, HIV, and HIV/AIDS.
Yeah.
And night blindness.
I heard that the PTSD one though was really fucking like a lot of those are just really hard to actually get prescribed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to meet some really specific criteria or some shit.
Huh.
So might actually be harder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard that about just prescribing medical marijuana for mental illnesses, just in general,
Yeah.
because it's just they don't want to do it. I don't know. It's like
Like I don't know if I could sit in a room high with like a kid who had like that Tourette's manifested, where he's cussing all the time. Like I think I would lose my shit at that point.
oh no, I can't smoke to calm myself down,
Yeah.
but I can smoke to freak myself out and then be better later.
Like how is that a good thing?
Like
Doesn't
it
sound like it
is.
helps.
It's like purging. It's good. It's like purging your demons. That's why, like, you just like sit and meditate. You just smoke too much,
Yeah.
right? Too much,
Okay. Yeah. that
or
makes
eat,
sense.
or eat a lot,
Yeah.
and then just meditate for a while.
Like if we're on the subject of doing like a purge thing, like from like a mental and as well as like a spiritual standpoint, like I still really want to do an ayahuasca experience.
I want to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I want to try that.
There actually is the first legal ayahuasca retreat has actually opened up in Washington.
And it's expensive as fuck.
I have no doubt. But like I think it would be such a liberating experience to basically put yourself through this mental challenge and come out the
Yeah.
other side.
I heard. Have you heard like what the high is? I've heard it's not that different from shrooms, but
I have heard that it is similar to shrooms but more intensive.
okay.
It's dimethyltryptamine. It's like DMT, but like for 7 hours.
Yeah.
And most people who've done DMT, it's like 15 minutes.
Mhm.
I've never done it, but like it's like a 15-minute trip, typically if it's smoked. So that 15-minute trip where sometimes you just leave your body, like you just
Yeah.
go into some other dimension for 15 minutes. It's that for like 7 hours.
Don't they say it like even those little tiny trips just feels like forever?
It can, yeah, I guess. There's also like reports of like little beings that you talk to and crazy shit.
Perfect.
But yeah, if it's ayahuasca is not like hey, let's go do ayahuasca. It'll be a good time.
It's
No,
like smoking a cigar. You got to sit down and devote the time to it.
It's not really like smoking a cigar either.
I'm just talking about like
Unless that cigar
the
makes you
investment.
question your existence.
In the
Well,
last 7 hours.
Like a lot of smokers will equate like cigars to actually feeling like hours worth of work, where you actually have to sit down and you have to invest all this extra time and shit into it. So like,
right, yeah.
So like I equate that with like the cigar version of tripping. Like you just you got to ride that shit out. Like it ain't going away.
Yeah.
And I know they make you for like 3 days you have to do like a body cleanse to get all the other crap out of your body. So that's like 3 days of prep work, and then I think it's like 4 days of ayahuasca.
That's intense.
Yeah. And no MAOIs and all that other kind of shit, because that'll kill you. And then, it's not like, I think a lot of people hear it and they're like, yeah, let's go do it. And it's not to be taken lightly at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's intense as fuck, from what I've heard and from what I would expect anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That kind of sounds fantastic.
I wonder if it's fun at all, or if it's just like work.
I'm sure it's probably
It's work.
Both.
I mean, people go to those to take care of some serious shit they're dealing with. Like that's typically what it's for. It's a shaman that guides you through, like, helping you not have a fucked up life anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's the same. There's a ritual with ibogaine too that's similar to that. That's had like really high success rates with heroin.
Mm-hmm.
But ibogaine's still illegal too, so that's fun. Yeah.
Huh.
But luckily, with the ayahuasca experience,
Government knows what's best.
you can now legally do that.
Yeah,
So
I think if you're Native American and on a reservation, you can already legally do that.
Yeah, but now you can go to Washington and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is ayahuasca? Is it a plant?
Yeah, it's a plant.
Yeah, it's.
Did they make it into a tea or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I had a documentary on it because I got this thing from. Was it Dennis McKenna? Terrence McKenna's brother.
Yeah.
Wrote a book called Brotherhood of the Screaming Abyss, My Life with Terrence McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the book, and there's like a couple DVDs, documentaries on DMT and ayahuasca.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they were trying to, there's a, I think MAPS is doing something with that now, the multiple, whatever MAPS stands for, but multidisciplinary association for psychedelic studies, maybe. Am I right about that?
Oh, I have no idea, man.
Sounds correct.
Anyway.
Apparently, it's made out of a vine, like a vine
Yes.
and other ingredients.
Yeah, the other ingredients are MAOI inhibitors, I think, or something that activates it basically makes it so your liver doesn't filter it out or whatever.
Okay.
Because there's DMT in like all kinds of plants.
Mm-hmm.
But like the concentration, those two combined together and the certain chemistry or whatever and the amount of DMT in it is like, that's how they make the tea. But,
Yeah, apparently, like,
but it's in like every fucking plant.
they mix it with a bunch of leaves and some root bark that all contain DMT.
Yeah. But there's some kind of inhibitor thing that that makes it where it doesn't get filtered out.
That sounds
You also
frightening,
have DMT receptors in your brain.
but
And
interesting.
The idea is that, and I don't know if it's true or not, because I've heard some different things on this, but like that DMT is actually produced in your brain. But I know there's the receptors for it, but I don't know if it's exactly DMT that's in your brain or whatever, but it's just like, it's like dreaming or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I thought DMT, like a huge portion of, like it's stored in your brain, and then a huge portion of it whenever you die is released. I don't know if that's true, but that is what I've heard.
Something like that, yeah.
That's like a bonus trip, like at the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the whole rebirth thing, and we can get into a whole mythos podcast here if you want. But then I'm just going to sound like an idiot because everybody else on every other podcast has talked about this shit in way more detail than I ever could. And knows a lot more about it. But it's really interesting shit.
Perhaps we need to do a podcast on DMT and just,
Yeah, should we get an expert?
Yeah.
Who's an expert?
Can we get Terrence McKenna?
Just email us.
Terrence McKenna, if you hear this podcast.
Terrence McKenna is
Send
not
us-
with us.
Oh, is he dead?
Yeah, he's been dead for a while.
Well, I totally missed the boat on that. Well, I've watched a lot of your work.
His brother's
Terrence McKenna,
around.
So really, does he
Yeah.
do? Do you think he would help us out?
Probably not.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
he's important and stuff.
Oh,
Worth a shot.
I mean, hell, hey, if you
Yeah,
feel like doing
well,
it, email us at contextuallyyourspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Because hey,
We
why
need
not?
a herbalist.
We do. Like, why don't we have any herbalist? friends?
Actually, also email us if you're a gardener and you can do our yard work, and we'll pay you, or I'll fix your computer or something.
This just got weird.
We're just gonna work out all the day-to-day, like on the podcast.
At contextually yours podcast@gmail.com.
And at the community center, we're gonna have a bake sale.
Bake sale.
Yeah. So getting back to the video
Yeah.
production traveling. So you've been over in the Middle East multiple times. Is that because of a reputation for going to the Middle East, or is that something you kind of like try to get like?
No, it's nothing I've like tried to get. The whole reason I got started with the out of country thing is my buddy from high school, his parents have like a missionary organization, and so they found out that I did video stuff for them. I worked for them for a while doing like a lot of free gigs, and then they ended up taking me to Egypt to do a documentary for them, like kind of a test run thing. They really liked it, so then I went to Argentina for them, did the same thing, and then I did this last trip. And this is like through them, but it's not like for them. It's like a privately funded thing out of a bunch of rich people in Branson that wanted to do it.
No, I'm glad that you
that's
mentioned
cool.
the Egypt thing. Tell us a bit about your experience with that whole sneaking out thing you were telling me about.
Oh, the Egypt, we were in Cairo, and they've got like refugee camps there. And where they have their refugees is like in a bunch of, they just build these like enormous buildings, and then like people buy out spaces individually, so they've just got all these empty shells of buildings, and that's where all the refugees were. And the police that were like escorting us throughout Cairo throughout the trip, they didn't want us to go to the camps, and so we had to tell them that like half the team was just staying at the hotel that day, and then the other half was going out. So they followed those people, and then we left separately to go to the refugee camp. So
That's pretty damn intense.
yeah, the apparently somehow they found out about it, and the translators got in trouble whenever we left, but I guess not that much trouble because they're alive. So
So like, I mean,
That's
like,
good.
were you like sneaking around corners and shit, and like trying to avoid like guard patrols or something?
not trying to avoid like guards or anything. People in the Middle East are like, obviously it's a whole different culture, and they're like, if they see a white dude in their hood or like the poorer areas, they're like, if it's not a tourist area, they're, what the fuck are you doing here? And they will like kind of get around you and look at you, and everybody will be staring at you and pointing at you. So it's
What's up, bro?
yeah.
What's up?
So yeah, so that part of
That's
it's
pretty intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we did in the refugee camp. So we went around in a van to each like place that we were going to, and then just ran to the place like as fast as we could and got in there and out of people's business.
That's fucking intense.
Yeah, it's a cool experience.
Could you do that, Jeff? Would you?
Actually, if I'm out of my element that much already,
Yeah, you're already just
I'd
wanting to
probably
book.
be more prone to it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
When they mentioned that idea, like before we went to Egypt, I was like, oh, fuck no, I'm not comfortable with that. Like, because they told us we were going to be going away from like the police escorts, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I was there, and it's just like, why
Fuck
not?
it.
Yeah, you're already out of your element so much. It's-
Yeah. I had a friend who did as a web designer.
Mm-hmm.
I did some websites for this charity. It's like there's like 5 charities, and you can do like a monthly thing where you give $1 each to each charity.
Uh-huh.
And one of those charities, he was telling me he met a guy that I guess he was a doctor, and they would go into, I think it was like Syria or possibly Pakistan or somewhere.
Okay.
In that area where women had been abused, and they have there's this common thing where they'll get like acid or boiling water thrown in their faces, and they're in the hospital for that, and they're wanting to basically smuggle them out of the country.
Yeah.
And so their charity actually goes into these hospitals and gets these women out of the country without their family knowing and without the authorities there knowing. And it's really fucking intense work.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about that, and I was just like, holy shit. Like, there's some fucking just massive balls on the
Yeah.
those doctors. It's insane.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
What about going through customs and stuff? Did you guys have a lot of issues and stuff, like getting in and out of the country?
Customs, the only hard part was getting into Israel because they're so strict with security. And we were in Lebanon, and Lebanon and Israel like fucking hate each other. And so we had to fly from Lebanon to Jordan, and they're like a little bit on better terms. Then we had to drive through Jordan into Israel and cross that border. And that takes a while. Like there was a lot of questioning, lots of security.
Like I imagine dudes with machine guns posted, and
they're every person once you hit 18 and
wait, was there any hot Israeli chicks there with machine guns? Because I know that's a thing. Like
they've got
that really happens.
They do have some hot chicks in the military.
Yes. Like
well, in Israel, military is like required, right?
Yeah, once you turn 18, it's required. And so you see like a ton of soldiers. It's weird because there'll be like kids younger than me wearing like a hoodie and like shorts, and they've got like a machine gun. You know, it's interesting to see.
Were you riding with somebody that had like an AK, like when you were taking that trip through Jordan?
No, not through Jordan.
None of that.
Yeah, they're Jordan's calmed down a lot on terrorism stuff. So
you just assume that they'll have an AK.
Hey man, I watch a lot of Vice. I don't know.
They have to have an AK.
I watch a lot of Vice, and they go to scary places, but
true. But somebody's
scarier than Jordan, obviously. And I don't know shit. I'm a fucking redneck from the Midwest. I don't know.
That's intense.
Intense place to grow up.
Yeah.
They're kind of on par. I mean, shootings in the streets daily. Yeah, all the same. The hood.
Yeah. Crap. What else? What else do we have to ask about?
Why don't you check the list there?
You got
Today.
Well, see, he already mentioned the missionary videos, so I can't make my joke about how I watch missionary videos. But they weren't the same kind of videos.
You worked that. I like how you brought that in there. That's a nice little segue.
Yeah, I just cheated. I just cheated.
And you were wanting so bad.
We can redo it and edit it out.
And
the first part.
And similarly, if you don't think people watch many missionary videos, they don't in porn either. Because that's a really boring position to watch on video. Anyway, so you mentioned getting paid, but do you get paid for the for those trips for charity?
I've gotten paid in gear in some of them, and then other ones I've just done it for like the free trip. And like Egypt, I did for the free trip, and they did like all expenses and everything like that.
Nice.
And I figured
that's cool.
Yeah, kid in college, why not?
Where'd you go in Egypt?
Cairo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you get to go to any pyramids?
I did see the pyramids.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Like, did you actually get to go to the pyramids, or did you?
Yeah, I was at the pyramids.
See, now that's something I want to cross off the list. I've never
You should before Egypt gets too bad.
I want to.
Until the whole fucking country shuts down.
I want to go to the. I want to go to the McDonald's by the pyramids.
Yeah. You want a McPyramid burger?
Yeah.
Fast food in other countries or in Middle East countries, just fair warning, it's shit. You don't want to go there.
That's good shit here.
So like a McDonald's, a McDonald's burger in Egypt doesn't taste like a McDonald's burger in America?
No. French fries don't taste the same.
And they call it a Royale. You know, you've seen Pulp
McRoyale.
Fiction.
Royale with cheese.
Well, like I heard that like there were some spots like in different countries where you could actually get like local style cuisine like at a fast food restaurant. So like some like I think it was like in India or something like that where they had McDonald's that had like curry and stuff like that there. Like
Yeah, a lot of the places in the Middle East they do like lamb burgers instead of meat, and then
that's actually kind of cool.
yeah,
Like is it halal? Like appropriate?
I don't wait halal.
Yeah, like can you get a halal burger at McDonald's in Egypt?
I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
That's like Muslim clean. Like
I'm,
So, like
I'm
kosher-
sure
like
with how
kosher.
many for kosher
Yeah.
for Muslims. I'm sure like if it's I don't know, but I would figure with how many Muslims live
But
there.
I figured it was, but like I don't know the specifics of halal. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Like I really, like I don't know the actual specific definition of halal.
Hello.
Do you?
it's like a blessed animal. Like I don't know all the specifics because I'm
Yeah.
a white kid.
Right. Yeah. Well,
White privilege.
Yeah. I'm just a little Irish Norwegian immigrant.
What accent was
with
that?
I don't know. I just sort of make them up. I don't really know what happens there.
Could be Irish Norwegian. I don't know.
So it's
no, that's Irish Norwegian from the Bronx.
it's from Boston.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we actually talked about almost everything.
Almost.
Uh, yeah.
That we wrote down.
Yeah. Pretty
Should
much.
we-
We didn't write down much.
We did.
Yeah. I mean, we had on the list, how about them Jews?
Yeah.
That was the first thing on the list, which it really should be. And then, yeah, Egypt, the sneaking into refugee camp thing. And,
Little known
that stuff.
fact: our roommate is Jewish.
So, yeah.
Oh,
Man, he's watching and he's watching a Japanese movie with an American actress in it, playing the
Ghost in the Shell.
yeah.
I've heard that's not very
is that
good.
what he- really? Like
Yeah.
in comparison to the actual anime?
I've heard in comparison to the
The original.
actual one, it's fucking terrible. But I've heard like on its own merit, it's not shabby.
That's kind of the way it is with most of those things.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off about remakes.
Like I really enjoyed the original like Ghost in the Shell anime.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really probably my favorite anime movie.
Yeah.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah,
Like
I think so.
I guess maybe I'm weird, but like I really like as far as like I guess classic anime goes, it's still Howl's Moving Castle for me. Like most of the stuff from Studio Ghibli is like kind of the shit that I dig.
yeah.
I took an intercession course at MSU. It was all about Studio Ghibli. And I was all about it.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff.
That's some Spirited Away, all that shit.
Yeah.
Man. That's good stuff.
First time I ever seen it. It was really
Kiki's
good.
delivery service. I'm making a lot of noise right now.
Yeah, you are.
I can't get whiskey if I don't make noise.
Gotta make noise and get drinks.
Yeah.
Should we take a break and get more drinks?
We should. Well, I mean, I'm doing pretty good on my own here, but yeah, we should probably
I
do
gotta.
that.
Yeah.
We'll take a.
Well,
we'll
you're
s-
right by the
yeah.
drinks.
Well, that is true. I do have an unfair advantage.
It's you're
I've
you're the Israel of bartenders.
What?
You know, you got all the missiles.
Oh yeah, I got I got all them liquor missiles.
Drink missiles.
So we're gonna take a break that isn't really gonna feel like a break to you studio audience or at home audience because you're not in the studio.
Yeah, there's no studio.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna press this button and you're gonna go away, but
Yeah.
you're not really gonna know that you're gonna go
It's
away
so
because
funny
it's gonna come
when,
right back.
when Griffin uses phrases that sound like we're professionals.
What?
If you got microphones, it's studio, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
When I have this microphone in front of my face, I am fucking professional as fuck, you cunt.
Yeah, but then when we actually like if we ever get anywhere with this,
Yeah.
then we're gonna have to stay humble, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be that guy
yeah.
that just tells us how shitty we are all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be the guy probably on coke getting a blowjob. Like
Oh.
just
That sounds nice.
yeah.
God damn it! I picked the wrong role.
It's too late to go back now.
Yeah, you're
Fucked.
done. You've chosen your lot in life. I'm sorry, my friend.
Well, I'm a fucking artist.
Okay, we're gonna take a fake 5 because you're not gonna know it's 5. Okay, be right back.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah.
We back in?
What is that?
We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
See
We're
how
back.
fast that was?
We're so fast, and what's funny is I've like already drank a lot of my drink. that I
Griffin's
made.
had another drink.
I think I've had 2
He's refilled
drinks
his.
since then.
He's had 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Is that just one for you? You gotta catch up to Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm a not chronic alcoholic.
So, speaking of fucked up shit you see sometimes, here's a segue. Filming in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Something in the Middle East.
Okay, so you were talking about earlier, like, if they see, like, a white person, like, in the wrong place, like, it's definitely, you stick out like a sore thumb. What is the social interaction
'Cause
like
you're
in
white.
general? Like,
That depends. It's kind of like a place-to-place thing. Like each of the 4 places I've been in the Middle East have been completely separate for all of them. In the poorer places, and I guess this isn't as much to do with me being a white person, but as much as me being like somebody filming them that's like from America, they all have this like misconception. I don't know how they get it. Like in Egypt and in Lebanon and some of the places, a lot of the people that you film and you'll like talk to them, they think that you're making like a shit ton of money off of this. I don't know how they get this idea,
oh, wow.
but it makes it like difficult because then they don't want to open up to you or they don't want to be filmed. Aside from like they don't want to be filmed in the first place because they don't.
Because you can't be like no, homie, like check out this fat trap beat that I got back here. Like we're all on the level.
But yeah, I don't understand where that misconception comes from. But most of the people that we talked to in Egypt, they would ask us like after the interview how much money we'd be making or something like that. And like we're not really making any money. We're trying to do this to like help the cause. We're not making any personal like money off this. But white
I wonder
people.
if that's probably like some cynicism too, right? Like that's probably
Must
like
be huge amounts.
yeah. I mean, if you got a government that doesn't give a shit about you and is like there's fucking people dying every day, like you're probably thinking everyone that is just looks like they have any kind of money.
Yeah,
is
who was in charge over there whenever you went? Who was president of Egypt at that time?
Shit, I don't know. That was like right when they overthrown the Muslim Brotherhood that had just taken over.
So it's still under military reign.
Mm-hmm. And I think it still is because Muslim Brotherhood had like fucked that whole country up. And somehow they got back from that because nobody's ever overthrown the Muslim Brotherhood after that's happened. Which is kind of cool that they did.
Oh, it's Dono. Dono's home.
Start watching this movie.
Oh, it was good.
So we went the intense talk about yeah.
So yeah.
And then I found $20.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try to get back on that
Muslim
track
Brotherhood.
if we can.
Yeah. So the when Obama came and did a speech in Egypt and had the Muslim Brotherhood be there, that was like a huge controversial thing because they were like totally not dug by anyone in Egypt at the time. They were like an outlaw fringe group, and then like to have them like brought to the forefront was like super. That would be like if the like Shah of like fucking Iran came to give a speech, in the U.S. like on the Capitol, and then demanded that Al Qaeda representatives be there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's totally fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But then, of course, in the news, it was all fucking Arab Spring. Yeah, good stuff. But it was like completely and utterly like fucking kicking the hornet's nest at that point. Like I find that to be very interesting that we talk about all this like liberation aspect of it, but we don't actually take into account the politics of the location at the time.
Yeah. Well, what was what was the context of them saying that? Like, was it just
They were a terrorist organization. So they're like, how about no?
No, I mean the context of him, like why he.
Oh shit, man! I have no idea. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense politically. It doesn't make any sense socially. Like it's I don't
He wasn't
get
like
it.
he wasn't like you bitches got to hear this.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go too much conspiratorial in it, even
Yeah.
though I believe in that shit, fucking aliens and fucking that's what
Oh,
they are,
man.
fucking lizards. So,
I'm wearing a
but like
tinfoil hat right now.
Illuminati. So, yeah, but I don't get the ulterior motive. Like, why would that happen? Why would that be a thing?
That is weird.
So let's say that I'm
A lizard.
completely ignorant to
An
current
ignorant
events,
lizard.
and that, like, was that in relation to the Arab Spring when you were there? Like,
In relation to what?
the Arab Spring, like when you were there,
Mhm.
like, was that just after that, or what? Like, what's the chronology of that?
The Muslim Brotherhood thing?
Yeah.
Well, we were there
What-
a year after they had like taken back the country and like became under military control.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Was that the question?
The Muslim Brotherhood took it.
Yeah. Muslim
Oh,
Brotherhood took
okay.
them over, and then they took
Oh.
themselves like they took Egypt back from
Yeah.
Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay. So
And,
you're.
uh,
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still like
Damn.
yeah.
Wow.
Crazy thing. Side note. It's really cool. Christians for a long time in Egypt were taxed for being Christians. Like you get taxed differently, and still in a lot of places in the Middle East, you're taxed differently if you're Muslim or Christian.
Whoa.
Yeah, but now Christians they get along reasonably well, from my understanding. But it's still kind of scary because, like, when Muslim Brotherhood came in, all Christians now, just as like a cultural thing, they get a cross tattooed, like a big cross on their wrist to identify that they're Christians, and that's how like a lot of them were being identified to be killed. And they would go in, burn churches, and then they'd look for people with tattoos and kill them, like in
Holy shit.
public demonstrations, stuff like that.
That's very systematic,
Wow.
much like I mean, I hate to draw the parallel, but I mean there is a lot of like fucking Nazi Germany aspect to that, like the Pole
Yeah.
Star of David thing. And,
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool to see all these people, and stuff like that could happen in Egypt any minute, and they don't never know. But all these people still getting these tattoos of that to show faith. Like no matter what your idea is of religion, I think that's pretty cool to
Yeah.
see people with.
Yeah, just
I
like
believe that's strong.
voluntarily
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking ballsy. Yeah.
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 It'd be scary,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Wow. So that it's, as far as like security, like how did that pan out? Because I'm just kind of curious of like the logistics and like how you're able to go there and shoot without, because there's got to be.
Didn't you say that there was like a whole hubbub about your camera and they were like all up in your shit about
Yeah,
that?
in a lot of places, and that was a weird thing. Like the people are all worried you're doing something to conspire against them or make money off them, and then the government, for their own ideas, thinks that you're doing something to conspire against them. So when I went to the
Yeah.
pyramids, I've got like a DSLR camera, so it looks like it could be just a tourist camera.
Yeah.
And that was completely fine when I took it to the pyramids because they've got like a ton of security there. Then they open my bag and they find like a boom mic and like tripod and all this shit, and they think that I'm like professional, and they start like freaking out on me. They said I could take pictures, but if I recorded them in videos, then they'd send me to jail. It's like, oh fuck.
Because that'd be like the worst fucked up place ever to end up in jail. Is like
Yeah.
fucking, in
Yeah.
Egypt.
Yeah, no doubt. But I had like a whole bunch of memory cards, so I just took all the videos on one, took it out, and then took pictures for the rest of the time. And then when I was like leaving, I just like scrolled through real quick to show them all pictures. So
Fuck yeah.
simple stuff.
And to actually answer a long-standing debate that Jeff and I have had, when you're shooting video, how much footage can you capture at one time? Like how long?
Well, for DSLR, I know a lot of them only let you shoot for 30 minutes. And then also,
Well, some are like 15, right? Like,
well, there's also like, they'll let you record continuously for 30 minutes. But I know a lot of DSLRs and other type of camcorders, there's like a tax bracket where if you film longer than some certain amount, they'll stop you. It'll stop like really soon. I think my camera will do it like 8 minutes, so it'll only record like 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes. So it's all continuous, so it doesn't matter in editing software anyways. But there's a tax bracket where you can only film so much, or they're considered like Professional grade.
Yep, professional video camera.
So
Yeah.
you can
So-
shoot
'cause they're
8 minutes
imported.
continuous, so it doesn't actually stop, but it breaks it up into different files.
Yeah, it breaks it up into different files.
But
Yeah,
that's
still.
not the software. Is that the native software on it already? Like,
Yeah.
And it'll keep going. You don't have to hit the record button again.
No, not until like 29:59, and then it stops, and then you have to record again. But other than that, it just
59
splits it
minutes.
up into different files.
Huh. That's good to know.
It's weird
Yeah.
though.
I
All
know
about
you'd have to
taxes,
get-
like
Yeah, it's crazy because the imports on those. If it's because basically a regular DSLR camera would just cost a shitload more if it can film for more than 30 minutes or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So if you have a I don't know, like a Canon Rebel T3i or something, it's limited to a certain amount of video that it can capture at any one time.
yeah,
So that it's cheaper for them. So it's the tax bracket of the company. So like, and then
Fuck off, Delaware.
but you can get firmware. You can get firmware to like hack it.
Yeah.
And make it record longer.
yeah,
But that's after it arrives in the boat or whatever. So like,
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I wish they would change that because I want a new camera.
Yeah. And for most of those, aren't you like using a whole variety of lenses and shit, and like different lenses from like the standard stock crap?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
I stick with my main puppy is a Sigma 18-35. This is like all like, just super wide, and it's like really good with low light shooting. So that's mainly what I'm using for all my stuff because I'm always doing interviews from like close range.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always getting up close to stuff. So I don't have a whole lot of use for like telephoto stuff or anything long range. So
Yeah.
that's usually what I stick with.
Dope.
Sweet.
What else is on that sheet?
I put guns.
On the cheat
I
sheet?
put kids with guns.
Oh, kids with
Kids
guns.
with guns.
Kids with guns.
That was actually my first. That was my first exposure to Michael. Was we were on a shoot together, and I went into his car to go to the location.
You know how many people are going to give you shit for your British accent?
Probably all of them.
If this
All of them.
goes
I think it's
on the
good.
internet.
That's all that matters.
Well, it will be
Yeah.
on the internet.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I encourage you to do it more, but
Because the hate mail. For your hate mail, if you feel like sending it, please jump onto the internets and head straight to contextuallyyourspodcast@gmail.com. Bitches. Yeah, my first exposure to Mike was we were doing a film together, and I go to we're going to the location where we were shooting, which was there was this land off of like it was a conservation site or whatever. So like, which was the weird thing because we had to like fucking hike into this place. Like once we fucking got there, it was like what, like a half a mile or something in or whatever.
Yeah, probably something like that.
And at that
Almost half a
time,
mile.
which that fucking that whenever I had talked to you, whenever we were shooting at the con, and
Yeah.
I talked to getting about that fucking fold out cart to put all the gear in. Yeah, we were talking
Yeah.
about that, like, dear fucking god, because we had to carry all of our shit in
I was
plus
carrying a
their
fucking
shit.
crane.
Yeah,
It was so heavy.
yeah, motherfucker.
And
had-
weights to put on the crane.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts to hike in there, like, and have all that shit and not have some kind of something to like help you get there.
That sucked.
Yeah, it did suck. But anyway, my first exposure to Mike, I'm getting in the car, and like he's like moving papers and shit, and all of a sudden there's this like fucking handgun sitting in the seat, and I'm like, "Aw, we can be friends. I like you." It was rather
Yeah.
nice.
That's me.
I felt secure.
yeah. As long as whoever has it has their shit together. It's
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
true. Do you have your CCW?
Yes, sir.
And so like what did you do for qualify?
I took it's just like an 8-hour course to get the CCW, and then I took a firearm safety course. You don't have to do that. I feel like you should have to do that.
Yeah.
Normally you
but-
got to do like basic one before CCW. Did they make you do that?
No.
No.
But so I did that, and then
That's weird.
hunter safety, and that's all I've done. So like 3 training courses.
Mm.
But, and that like most of the training comes from just training on your own and
Yeah.
like learning how to shoot it.
Did you have to qualify in both auto and revolver?
No,
So you got in before that became a thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing now. You got to do both. I mean, in Missouri, it doesn't really fucking matter anymore now that we have constitutional carry, but...
Weird thing about Missouri, you've heard like I'm pretty sure that's still the same thing, but like 19, you can get your conceal and carry.
Right.
You still have to be 21 to buy a handgun or to buy handgun ammunition, which makes no fucking sense. So you can have a handgun, have it in your jacket, and but you can't buy ammo for it or anything.
True, very true. But I mean, it works for like family heirloom.
Yeah. Because my parents just had.
I don't know.
It's also.
I don't know if I like any 19-year-olds having handguns. Honestly,
I can understand that. It's
So.
Wow.
You can hear Donovan in the background
doing his thing.
This
is that's actually it happens every podcast. We just kind of roll with it.
It's funny though, in Israel, some of the guys that I met there that I was talking to, we were just like talking about the different gun laws between the countries, and they were talking about how hard it is to like get a pistol there, but that's like, you can do that as a civilian. Most civilians can get it if they go through enough shit. Yeah. And I was like, well, what about like rifles or anything? He's like, no rifles. Like you can get shotguns to hunt with. And he was like, well, what about you guys? And I was like, well, it's funny. You can go and buy assault rifle that you can take it down like as many people as you want with when you're 18. But
now, okay. I gotta admit, now there's a caveat. AR does not mean assault rifle, just AKA.
I know, but still, you can buy I bought an SKS when I was 18.
Right. But everybody thinks that AR, like the AR in an AR-15, stands for assault rifle, which is complete and utter fucking bullshit. The design of an AR was actually created by a company called Armorlight, and that's what AR actually stands for, is Armorlight 15. Yeah. It was the 15th model design that they had. But like...
Griffin's very passionate about this.
Well, I mean, I think it's utter bullshit that we create this stigma around firearms and like we don't fucking understand what they mean, what they are, how they were created, and it's fucking crap.
Well, I think that like feeds both directions. Yeah. Where it's like people either wanting to ban them or people that just don't know shit about guns wanting to have a bunch of guns.
I want to sleep with my 1911 under my pillow.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like in between. It's usually, and I consider myself, as much as I love my guns, I'm pretty in between about like the whole gun control thing. But there's like a left extreme and a right extreme, and not a whole lot of space in between.
I do feel kind of 50-50. Like whenever I was about 18, 19, I ran away from home and joined the circus, oddly enough. I was on the road with the Traveling Sideshow for a couple of years, and I was doing that. Well, within the circus, we had a series of rules. We actually had a rule book. But rule number 10 was never let a dumbass touch the shit. And I feel like that applies like in this setting. Rule number 11 was mushrooms and machetes don't mix.
There's a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, who he's been homeless a few times. He's a little off his rocker. Great guy. Good. He lived at one point, he worked out a deal with a trucker that was never in town. And he said, you can just stay at my house, just make sure nothing gets stolen. The reason he said that is because there was no front door on this fucking trailer. And it was literally him living in a trailer with no front door. And, and he had
my stories aren't that fucked up.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was dropping him off once. And I was like, dude, you can just stay at my house. Like, you don't have to stay here. And he's like, there's like 3 keep out signs. Like, and he's like,
that works.
And he's like, no, there's keep out signs. And I just fucking lost it.
I'd be way too scared to break into a trailer with no door on it.
Right. Yeah.
Who the fuck is living in there?
Like either this person is like either like really stupid or like has the biggest balls on the planet. Like just fucking sitting there, just fucking loaded up for bear, just waiting.
I just figure whoever is living there has nothing left to lose, so I don't really want to rob that person.
Yeah. And he had a little handgun and
ex-military, just
you know, for him, it's like, you know, I can see where laws were kind of abandoned a long time ago. Like it wasn't like for him, he needs that to survive, and for him, laws are just kind of inconvenient more than anything.
Right.
They're not like something he abides to socially, and so like and he had fired. He's like, no, I fire a warning shot every once in a while. I hear somebody scrounging around in the living room at night, like while he's sleeping, and he'll just fucking fire a warning.
What, like just shoot up in the top of the fucking trailer?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So So
like, what constitutes a small firearm though? Like, are we talking like just a little itty bitty Derringer?
I don't even
like
he showed me once, and it looked like it took like 22 bullets. Like it was like
just a little 22.
Yeah, it's a little like 22.
Because I mean, you can get small guns that pack a shit ton, like the fucking Judge, the Taurus Judge and shit. I mean, that's a compact little model, but that fucker will shoot shotgun shells.
Yeah, 410.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like seriously, yeah, it's fucking hot shit. Well, like, what do you prefer for like a small concealed carry?
Well, I had that revolver.
Yeah. You still have that one?
I still have the revolver. If I'm wearing something bigger, I like to wear that. If I've got like a like big jacket on or something like that, then I've got like a 9mm pistol, and then anywhere else.
Do you like the 9s? Do you like the 9s?
I like 9mm. But anything else, if I'm wearing skinny pants like this, I just got a little 380, tiny little gun.
So
stupid rules.
So more to the Second Amendment thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the bazooka?
Exactly. So in the instance that, you know, we need a well-regulated militia
Yeah.
to defend us from tyranny.
But we can't anymore. That was the thing.
But yet the government has
they've trumped that fucking
specific.
They've trumped that amendment completely and utterly. Because what was the point of that shit? The point of that shit was the fact that the militia could be equally armed as the motherfucking military, just in case if shit went down, like if the government went sour, you could fight back. I mean, that was the whole fucking reason for it. To defend against tyranny. But we don't have that now. Basically, you can get fucking, you know, parts and pieces of bullshit. You can get the stuff to mod the shit, but you can't. How about that, right? You got the AR-15, or no, sorry, excuse me, the AK-47, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and a variety of companies make that. Who's the big one right now? American Ordnance, I think, that does an AK. But anyway, you can buy the mod kit to make it full auto, and you can buy the AK. Now, both are equally fine to purchase legally on their own.
Yeah.
But if you were to combine the two, then you're a fucking felon. So like, okay, but going back, the whole thing that was the point, was so you would be equally armed as the military. So now the military can have fucking ridiculous amounts of shit. We got fucking lasers and robots and all this kind of shit. The general populace cannot have this. You cannot legally fucking own a bazooka. You cannot legally own an APR or a fucking RPG. Just APR, because I work in finance. Anyway, but you can't have those things.
Yeah, so
it's a no contest. Like, if you had to use an armed militia, you know, to fight against government tyranny, which was its fucking design, you can't. You cannot fucking do that anymore.
Right. But is that so?
It'd be like fucking.
So side effects of that
Red Dawn
is that no fucking crazy nutbag also gets a hold of, or at least it's harder for them to get a hold of.
True.
You know, something with a lot of fucking firepower.
Never let a dumbass touch this shit.
Right. So, well, shit, I can't remember where I was going with this. Yeah, it's fucking weird because, you know, people that are pro gun control, you know, it's about like crazy people not getting guns, which is a very legitimate concern and a very fucking you know, they're coming from a good place. And yet the kind of the weird irony of it is that now we kind of have, if you ever wanted a situation where you thought a militia might be necessary, it's getting closer to that. Like it's like
I think we've been progressing.
it's getting a lot closer to that.
It's been getting more and more. Like, I mean, Republican or Democrat agenda. Like I seriously don't really think that there's much difference between the two. Like, but I'm a skeptical, fucking cynical bitch. So like, I really think that both sides of the aisle is just complete and utter crap, and we're moving towards the same fucked up agenda, regardless of who's in charge.
And that you have the one person that like kind of throws a wrench in that fucking thing, and the person that throws a wrench in it, didn't know what the wrench was gonna do. Like had no idea. Has never seen a wrench. Fucking he's fucking insane.
Who, DJT?
Yeah, good old DJT. DJT.
The Don.
Yeah, good old Cheeto Mussolini.
What?
So yeah, like you have like this, whether it's gross incompetence or it's actually malicious intent, either way, it's fucking scary. So
and that's the weird bit, is I don't know how much to put faith in that, because like there's like a whole bunch of shit that goes on behind the scenes that we don't get to see as like
that's true.
People.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I do think it's interesting that we now, as a country, have a business person, like, running the country like a business, as opposed to, in the general political landscape of being a political animal. Do I think that's better? Not necessarily, or at all for that matter. But like, it's definitely going to be an interesting time as far as how the books are managed, and I think weird shit will happen, whether or not that be good or bad.
Yeah, but even if you look at that, like it's kind of scary.
Well, yeah.
But
every new president we get is kind of scary. Like.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I just it's just funny to me that
it's not all the lovable teddy bear that was George Bush.
Yeah. Well, but the other thing is like you can give them the benefit of the doubt, and I generally do. I don't think that shit's as scary as you see in the media, and I don't think I think that's true for.
Well, it's because the media is a bunch of fucking cocksuckers who just like to fucking over sensationalize every goddamn fucking thing ever.
Whether it's on the right or the left, doesn't matter. Fucking just the more scared we can make people.
We'll fucking start a revolution if a congressman stubbed his toe, and then they just like fucking spin it on Facebook and shit like. Dear God, Congressman blah 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 fucking stubbed his toe.
He stubbed his toe.
Fucking anarchy.
Yeah.
What's going on in the Capitol? No one said the hell. People stubbing their toes left and right.
Did you know the table leg that he stubbed his toe on was racist?
It was made by Nazis.
I didn't hear that.
So, yeah.
It was a German table.
So yeah, like you have like it's the media is like these two extremes, and it's kind of like reflected in culture.
The media is like a goddamn vampire.
That whole art reflects culture and culture reflects art kind of thing, that back and forth. Yeah, I think that's kind of fucked up with just media in general right now, because now it's good that we can't actually say that news media is art, but it's like starting to like there's a fucking blurry line between those things now.
Well, it's true, because like we quit fucking reporting the news, and we turned it into sensationalized. How can we fucking media blitz this campaign shit?
Yeah, it's just that like they've got to have that 24/7 news, and what the hell do you do after a certain amount of time? Like you have to blow up every little thing you have, or you don't have stories to run all damn day.
Yeah,
right.
So we start sensationalizing the most trivial shit.
Yeah. So if you've got that, like how much of that actually starts to reflect in culture, that's what's scary. Like I don't think culture is as bad as like the media would portray it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in the middle. I think most of us are in the middle. I think like most people are reasonable to a degree. And yes, that is not to negate my idea that everyone's crazy.
Yeah.
I think everyone's crazy and reasonable, and we're complex creatures and all that shit.
Right.
But I think politically everybody's fairly, at least well-intended.
I don't even believe that.
And then, I do, but maybe misguided.
I think they're like fucking sharks in the water.
I'm at a liberal arts program at a state school.
Yeah.
So everyone is mad social justice warrior.
Oh, no doubt.
And
Yeah.
there's like 3 of like more moderate people in the class with me that are just like, fucking shut up, because we've got like just the whole class is just like, everyone's racist, everyone hates females, everyone, it's just like, as PCs you can imagine, and with you I completely understand, I like the intent behind PC, but there's like so much just blowing up because of it that should never be in the spotlight in the first place. So it's just,
and actually it's shooting themselves in the foot anyway.
Bitches just
like
need to chill out.
yeah.
It's really like detrimental to the cause, to the original cause.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear about the whole shit, like the Women's March on Washington, right? Yeah. They went through the whole thing, and then all of a sudden women of color decided that they weren't integrated like into the whole thing. So then there was a huge hubbub about that. A friend of mine who is a social justice warrior, like, was hardcore.
Wait, the Women's March that was the biggest fucking march
said that they didn't include women of color. Women of color weren't invited to speak, so that became a huge thing.
Wow.
So then they were like, wait, we're doing injustice to our sisters of color. So then they went on this whole tirade of how, like, I didn't realize as a white privileged person that I missed out on XYZ in this fucking situation. So then, okay, so all that happened, and then that started to smooth over because they're like, yeah, we need to listen to our sisters of color. Then the transgender community started going apeshit because of the pussy hats, saying that obviously these pussy hats are now saying that to be a woman, like, it equates it with having a vagina. So, like, that's yeah.
Wow.
There's that. Right. So it's like
Why are you doing what you're making it worse for yourself? While we're on the Women's March, how did Madonna get away with that?
Oh my!
Can you
fucking
imagine
God.
if, like, Obama's inauguration, Larry the Cable Guy came up like,
Motherfucker,
we're gonna bomb the White House, guys? Like,
Fucker would have got sacked right off.
I know, they would have fucking killed him.
Like, I mean, I get outrage, and I get we live in a free country where you can say whatever the fuck you want. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
the fact that this podcast exists and we talk shit on whatever entity we fucking feel like talking shit about at the time, and we can do so without motherfuckers busting in the door.
And you know what's great about that?
and we put it on
Nobody
the
listens to it. And guess what? If you do end up listening to it later and you're offended, guess what? You didn't have, like, no one is listening to it.
Yeah.
Like now.
So stop
Like,
being a
it's
pussy.
just like how you should want, like, just don't listen to it.
Send your hate.
It
mail.
like already existed without you listening to it. So you can just go back to doing that. See, it works great that way.
Contextually yours podcast at gmail.com. Send your email. Yeah. But
You really want us to get fucking hate mail, don't you?
I want some kind of mail, for Christ's sake. Somebody talk to me. I'm so Jesus Christ. Just fucking send anything. Flowers. I don't care. Just
I gotta send him something. Oh man.
So,
Yeah.
how does that work out? Okay, so do you ever do, like, projects with the college and do these kind of, like, documentary style, like, regarding things in the Middle East and things like that?
No, not really. I haven't done a whole lot with the college besides just, like, stuff required by class. I'm, like, so busy otherwise making personal content and then work content and then normal work that I don't have time to do much with school. I've done some, like, B-roll for a student debt film that a few professors are working on, but that's about it.
That sounds familiar. Wasn't somebody else working on a student debt program that they had asked us to?
The same guy that you
Oh,
donated
Lorelai?
to,
Lorelai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lorelai.
Was that for PBS?
I don't know.
Was
I
that
think
for
they're.
PBS?
Oh, yeah, OPT.
OPT.
I know, like, Deborah
Something like
Larson at MSU is like the head of it, and then the same that person you said you donated to for the Syrian refugee
Yeah.
documentary. He's the same person. He's also working on the student debt one. Andy Klein, cool guy.
Very cool. What do you want to do? Like, what would be your ideal scenario for, like, a career?
Ideal scenario.
Do you want to work movies, or do you prefer, like, documentary?
I'd like to do movies. I like narrative, like fiction.
So, like,
Stuff that.
do you write your own scripts and shit too on the side, or are you just, like, wanting to bring to life someone else's vision?
I could do either. I like writing my own script. I'm, like, in love with Tarantino and Scorsese, so I kind of write, like, in that style if I'm doing my own stuff. Go on.
You know, the original script for Pulp Fiction and I think also Reservoir Dogs is online.
Yeah.
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 When I was in college, actually, no, it
I
was,
fucking love reading that. Like I was just like, oh hey, these lines are different. So that'd be awesome.
yeah. Well, I lied. It wasn't college. It was high school. That's how old I am. Well, anyway, we went to I was in theater because I'm total homo. So once again, send your hate mail to contextually yours. Podcast
No, actually,
gmail.com.
that was less offensive and more just evidence that you're over 30.
Oh, that's true.
That was really like that's what that was.
So I
Because
went.
nobody thinks of it that way
Right.
anymore at all.
Oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like
Anyway.
I'm so old.
Yeah.
I went to a theater festival at Illinois State U as just kind of the shit that we did. Well, for one of the workshops that we went to, we had done Res Dogs in the round. So we'd gotten the script for Res Dogs, and it was all about context and how characters play off of each other and everything. So we did the first cutting as an all-male group, and then we went through and then did it as a mixed group with men and female. And then finally we did it as a full female cast, which if you've never seen the opening scene of Reservoir Dogs, and then seen it done by a woman talking about Madonna's big dick, it was quite possibly the most amazing thing I have ever seen in my life. But it was an interesting, dynamic, on how the context of a scene works with the actors and how it plays together and the dialogue
that's
and
pretty
things.
awesome.
We did that on the same Converse for music. I had done a stint at Disneyland for Magic Music Days at Disneyland. And I was playing with an orchestral group at the time, and we sat in one of Disney studios, and we were playing a series of music along to The Rocketeer. Once again, dating myself. And it was to illustrate how music is such an integral role within, cinema.
Yeah.
So we did a cutting from The Rocketeer, and they recorded us, playing the music, and then they played it back with the scene. But they played the scene without music to show you how fucking weird it feels. So there's the dialogue and there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
And then they played it back with our recorded score, and it was fucking. And that was actually my first exposure to being in an orchestral environment and playing to to a full feature. So they had, it was the big fucking studio. So fucking, just fucking room for miles, and full recording system set up on all the shit, and they had the 150,000 foot fucking screen that was playing the movie, and it was intense.
They had we had, of course, we have the Sato 48. Do you know about that? Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing that this year?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Fuck you.
They had with a guy that used to live here. He mostly ran it, which was it was week long, and it was a music video, and it was Rock On music competition or music video competition or whatever. And they would play the video and you could play live at the Galoy.
Yeah.
For these videos. And the coolest fucking thing about it was a live band would play along to a video playing on the screen.
That's cool.
And I was like, shit, I want to do that more than anything. That is my dream gig, is playing to a fucking video on the screen.
Be awesome.
But yeah. I don't know if anybody's still doing that, but
Yeah.
Are you guys doing Sato?
No, we elected to not.
I have a rule. I have a rule with the crew I have, which is, or just me in general, really. But if I haven't shot anything all year, I'm not doing Sato. Why?
I have a rule that I won't do anything right now unless I'm asked. Nobody asked me to do it.
Well, I just don't want to, I don't want to just do Sato every year and nothing else.
Yeah.
So I don't want to encourage that behavior.
Yeah.
I don't want to, my friends that do Sato and that's all they do, I don't want to be oh yeah, I'll do it again, because I asked them all year to do other shit and it never happens.
I would really
Yeah.
prefer to get our short film off the ground.
Yeah.
Before investing in anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got a whole crew and everything already?
Not a full crew. I've got
Oh,
enough
shit.
to make it work.
You got a week.
What
Or
weekend?
less than a week,
When does
right?
that start?
It starts on Friday. Yeah.
Oh my god.
We've got enough to make it work. But,
Like this Friday?
yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
intense.
James is doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you need a sound guy, just hit me up. What?
So, yeah, I just kind of wondered about the, I don't know, college kids and your, like, super PC college kids and your experiences overseas and, you know, telling them about that or, like, I feel like that's a weird...
Did you get a lot of that in college? Like, was there like a whole lot of lefties?
No. Well, I went to a tech school too. So,
Yeah.
like, I went to a tech school. We didn't have dorms there. You know, we were all working jobs.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the thing. Like, I think that there's like well, for one, it's an exposure to media that no one has ever seen up until now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone under 18 or what, I don't think they talk to human beings face to face anymore. Like, it's so fucking insane.
Going to school at Full Sail, it was a whole lot of that. Like, we rarely got political on anything.
Yeah.
Like 90% of it was. Oh, I mean, I hate to say 90% of it, but a good chunk of it was dudes who were just like, oh man, I want to make beats. You know, I make beats all day. Make beats. And it's like, I what the fuck? Like, I mean, and we went through a rather rigorous, like, 3 levels of music theory on top of, you know, design. Like, I mean, it was a pretty intense process. And, like, I think my student advisor was saying, like, only 10% of, like, you know, people who enrolled in the program actually made it.
Right.
Due to the fact that and in fact, they've dumbed the course down now. Like, they actually have a completely separate course. Yeah, like and it's only available for an associate's degree now, where they've taken out all of the theory and music writing and songwriting shit and just made it about fucking making beats, because, you know, it's a for-profit university and that shit makes money.
I was a tutor at ITT and I thought it was dumbed down.
Yeah.
I taught math and I was like, fuck. I was just like, this is, it was... Like, I was going to go for a bachelor's, and I just fucking can't. I just kept my associates and got the fuck out of there, because it was just not the material, especially, like, the books. Like, you could just look at the books and be like, this is shit. Like,
Yeah.
That's pretty hard.
shit I should have learned in a VOTech class in high school. Like, it was nothing.
Yeah. I was at
And-
OTC for my A+ degree, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was ready to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, what about high school? Like, what did you do in high school? Were you involved in the arts?
I was into, what's it called? Drugs.
Yeah.
Lots of those. Yeah.
artistic.
It was,
What about you, Mike?
No, actually, I just hung around with a lot of people that did drugs. That's not entirely true.
You didn't participate in any.
I barely
musical.
did,
Yeah.
actually, comparatively. Like, I was the most sober person of the group for sure.
Oh.
But I watched a lot of people go, like, do some really fucked up shit, which was partially fun and
Like-
hilarious,
like
and
here,
partially
hold my beer
kind of
shit?
sad. And but I mean, you know, it was up and down.
Yeah.
But I fucking academically, I was just no.
Yeah.
I was fucking.
You didn't do any stuff there.
I sucked at everything. However, we had just a militaristic math teacher that was at that high school for 28 years or something before he retired. Like, fucking, like, my friends' uncles had him when they were in school and shit like that. Like, and the dude was like a legend, you know, in that area, and he had like certain catchphrases, and he just had this like these mannerisms, and everybody fucking knew him. And
We're gonna do some algebra.
right, yeah. And so yeah, like, just clouds of chalk dust. Like, he was very just old school fucking professor style.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna write all these math problems on the board. tell you everything about them, and I'm only going to grade you on the fucking tests. Like 10% of our grade was the homework, and like 90% was the tests.
Yeah.
Intense.
I at that time, I was a big fan of marijuana, and I was sleeping in that class it was the first hour.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna stay awake.
Yeah, fuck that.
So I slept in this class. Well, the first couple of times, if you're a new student, he's gonna slap his hand on your desk and wake you up, and and be like, Mr. Oh, and he referred to everybody by their last name. So hit my desk, and I come up, and he's like, Mr. Simmons, you might want to wipe the drool off your face and pay attention to what's going on here, or whatever. And another thing was, if you were like fucking with somebody, or there's a fight or whatever, one thing he always said was, "It takes two to tango," and like shit like that. Like he's a fucking legend. And his breath always reeked of fucking cigarettes and coffee.
Nice.
Like he was like a dragon, really. If you really think about it, he was like a dragon that made clouds of chalk dust. And anyway, I think I got like a B or A- in his class.
Nice.
And I slept every fucking day. Like after a while, he just stopped caring.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, if he's gonna fail, he's gonna fail. But I fucking passed his class. And I think, I just basically crunched or whatever, and I had to do that in college too when I was tutoring people. Like it was like every quarter, I had quarterly classes. And so, I'd forget half the fucking math in the book, and just have to go and reread everything and figure it back out.
Yeah.
And then teach it. And, I made people that I thought were fucking hopeless graduate.
that was your
I helped
extra-
people that I thought were hopeless graduate.
And that was your extracurricular activity, right?
And I got honors. I graduated with honors from college. I barely graduated high school.
I didn't get that. Like, my extracurricular activity was actually trying to cut an intro for a WWE wrestler. Like, we did that for credit, to try to...
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Had I got it, I would have got a bunch of contracts and shit, but that didn't happen.
And for Full Sail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because WWE's doing a bunch of fucking Full Sail shit now.
My capstone is a music video that I hope no one ever sees. Ever.
I gotta see it now.
Ever. It's fucking terrible.
Mine's on my website.
The music is terrible. I had the shittiest band in St. Louis ever. And so we did a music video. I did the DVD. I was really good with DVD authoring. I did something with DVD Architect, which is like a old Sony program for making DVD menus that I don't think anyone's ever done before, which was a actual structured kiosk type of menu. Of course, I did that with my job after I got out of college. I did that in Lake of the Ozarks for these kiosk DVDs we were going to make, which was insane. Really proud of that shit because I basically hacked the fucking software in a way. I found a little bug to make it work. It was weird. But that so my final project in college was a really awesome DVD menu that I like to show off, and then the video that I don't want anyone to see and should be buried fucking 15 meters under the earth after it's set on fire.
Yeah.
And no one should ever see that video, but the menu looks fucking sweet. The menu is
It's the important
fucking
things.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so and then of course I displayed my project, realizing then that a room full of people watching the music video, realizing how fucking terrible my band was, and then even though it was that bad, the next guy that caught up, made me go, why the fuck am I going to school here? Because he had nothing. He made he took a particle emitter in After Effects and just made weird things fly around to stupid music. It was almost literally nothing.
I felt
And
that
that guy
same way.
still graduated, And I was like, why the fuck did I pay for this?
I felt the same way in my capstone project for college. Like, I was listening to a bunch of the soundtracks that a bunch of my classmates had made, and I was just like, what the fuck was your motivation for this? Like, I don't get it. Like,
no, we did have like some really good shit too that came out of that school, but it was people that studied outside of school. Like, it was people that already knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And so that was, shit, I can't remember the point I was going to make on that either.
What did you do in high school, Mike?
I did a lot of video production. It was so fucking impossible to get any of my shit played on like a Friday show though, because my librarian, Mrs. I shouldn't say names. My librarian, she's listening. She's still following me.
Needs a dick.
But she would not let any of my videos be played, and she would always find a reason to not play them, even if there was like no bad content. She just hated it. Like, she's one of those like really anti-art people, and so it was just like impossible to get any of my crap played. It was
It's pretty fucked up.
terrible. But I showed it to like all my classes, and they all liked it. So
Yeah.
that's all that matters, as long as I had some sort of audience, no matter
You
how
had a
small.
media program
Yeah,
in your high school?
college had a media program.
High
Well, we
school?
had let's see, what did we have? Yeah, we had Adobe Premiere, or I got Adobe Premiere because I got one of those, like, that was like when the school was just introducing laptops, and I got early.
Let's put this in context. When did you graduate?
2014.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, God.
Youngin.
I'm so old.
When did you graduate high school?
Right after the dinosaurs died. Like, just shortly after.
Shortly
that,
after.
like a couple of years.
Was it 2000?
Couple of years after
2002?
Yeah, 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 1999.
Yeah, you're yeah, same year as my sister actually.
I think I'm older than your sister.
I was supposed to. Well, wait, no, maybe it was 02. Yeah, I think I was supposed to graduate in 01. Yeah,
We didn't have any
I
media
was-
programs when I was a kid. They had talked about doing a media program, but they never did.
High school, impossible to get anything made because, well, I could make it, but impossible to get anything showed because of my librarian.
So
Really sucked.
okay, so what about the making process? Did you
The making process.
get kids to act and
Yeah,
that
everybody
kind of shit?
was like really into it because I was it was like a small enough school to where
Was
like
that around here at school?
yeah, Reed Spring, so close to
okay.
Branson. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a small enough school, like there weren't really cliques, so I kind of hung out with like all the different kids, and everybody was like always down to be in the videos.
I
So
did the same thing. My graduating class was 20 people.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots more than mine.
Yeah.
Man, where'd you go to school?
Up north, like Lake Pomme de Terre area.
Oh, okay.
Hermitage.
But yeah, so that, so that's high school.
Yeah.
Possible to get anything made. College, spent the first 2 years at OTC.
Yeah.
Fucking hated every
I
second.
think, but on the other hand, I think tech schools are kind of a good like introduction to like university or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
that they fucking cost too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anywhere getting gen eds, I would have hated anyways. So I'd rather just get it free from OTC than
Yeah.
because gen eds are literally the most pointless thing like on planet Earth
Yeah. Yeah.
for the most part. In my opinion, it's just like another 2 years of high school. Some
Right.
classes I understand, but most of them it's like, why am I taking this class and wasting my
Right.
time? And
Well, and I think that's more relevant now than it used to be because we used to have a finite amount of knowledge.
yeah,
And now there's no fucking way in hell
Yeah.
anyone can know like the vast amount of information that
Yeah.
we have access to every fucking day is so insane
yeah,
that I think that like we should probably embrace just not even fucking maybe not even going to college, just like you know what I mean, like I think most of the better jobs I've gotten is mostly just showing off what I can do as opposed to like somebody
Yeah,
looking
absolutely.
at some credential.
Mhm.
So so yeah, I think that's. I don't know. I think this people talk about like free education and how college is so expensive. Well, don't fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, if less people went to college, they couldn't keep charging people so goddamn much money. And so, yeah, I think trade schools are good if they're not fucking shady and, all that stuff is, like, complicated. But, yeah, so OTC, you learned, like, it's kind of like you said general education stuff.
Gen Eds, and then I did some...
I would think it would be the opposite at OTC, where you'd have more skill training as opposed to like gen eds, but it's the other way around.
Well, they do specific like skill training and like trade stuff, but I was just doing gen ed so I can get a transfer degree to MSU.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, now I'm in MSU. Been there since for like a year now.
What's the degree program you're going for?
Digital film production, but.
DFP.
Yeah. So doing that, and like I said, shit ton of SJWs, really PC, and it can get on your nerves after a while because like every class.
Sounds like you need an outlet.
It's weird. It's weird how that environment like persists in colleges more than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get how that, like, where that comes from specifically. I mean, it's just like a college culture thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then...
anything in arts, especially.
Yeah.
You're definitely more likely to see it. But yeah, so... my most annoying experience of that is I'm in like a screenwriting class, and it's like the advanced screenwriting class, and because I've taken the other ones, but I'm like way out of my league, first of all. So like that whole class is set up with only like 10 kids in it. And the whole point is just like read your script and then everybody tears it apart. And so I did that. First time it went over terribly. Second time it's gone good. And then the third time I just did it. And like I said, I really like Tarantino and Scorsese. So I'm not like trying to steal anything from them, but I'm trying to like kind of make a crime film sort of like that. Because, there's only so many people doing crime films like that. And they read that. And I could tell, like, the kids that were SJW, like, starting to really cringe at my script. And then the kids who were, like, more like me were, like, laughing at it, but, like, kind of under their breath, Because it's, like, a crime film. And all the guys are, like, complete fucks. Like, they're, like, some of them were transphobic, anti-Semitic, stuff like that. And I didn't feel like anything was, like, pushing the boundaries too far. But then some of them are, like, it just feels, like, outdated. Like, this just feels like something that would have been made in... like the 90s crime film, and I'm like, yes, that's what I want. Like,
yeah.
One of the guys was like, it has like a Pulp Fiction like feel to it, but Quentin Tarantino had like the right to do that because he already had like such a big name. And I'm like,
are you fucking kidding me?
I know, like,
such a big like.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, yes, that's what I want, like a older feel. I don't want to make a crime film that's PC. What the fuck? So like, what kind of crime film is that?
Yeah, there's no.
They shot Reservoir Dogs in a single warehouse.
Yeah.
Like every scene in that movie.
They had jack shit for fucking money.
Yeah. They did have Harvey Keitel.
That's true.
I need Harvey Keitel.
Some friends of mine in college were going to make a Counter-Strike level based on that warehouse.
Oh yeah.
Like, because we were all three. Like, well, two of us were 3D. Multimedia, the multimedia program there, which taught 3ds Max and 3D modeling and animation stuff, which was probably the one valuable thing I did learn there, if anything. But all that shit was online too. So anyway, but yeah, we were like, well, they make this level, and then it can be the like the gun game where like that scene where they all fucking shoot each other, like that.
Yeah.
Like would have like a circle of guns, and you had to like race to that spot.
Yeah.
That was a fucking cool idea. Never got around to it, but
yeah,
it's a really cool idea.
It's cool. Cool idea.
Fucking A.
But so you got college, And then it amazes me the number of people that are in like my same degree and have no work whatsoever. They just think they're gonna get this degree and like come out and get a bunch of jobs.
It's
like
same deal.
Yeah.
Like
even the people that are
college.
working their asses off are like, it's still hard to come out of college and get a job.
Yeah. Ridiculously so. Sometimes you find a guy who's eccentric enough to pay you reasonably okay-ish wage for what you're doing.
I was lucky I got started while I was still in school, like right before I graduated.
Yeah.
And I got a job editing with a company that was actually like doing corporate gigs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most mind-numbing fucking video you can imagine is this corporate internal shit.
Ooh.
When lifting a box, make sure that you bend at the knees.
And the funny
Not the
thing
back.
is, like, the difference is that corporate media, like corporate internal media, is all of the PC with none of the passion.
That's
It's what it's like the worst of both worlds. it's like like everything is just fucking gray, and the corners are fucking rounded off, and like nothing is well polished. Like, and I put together some shit I'm really impressed with. Like I'm really proud of.
We should do a skit.
But
it's like an anti-corporate video, like we shoot that.
An
and then,
anti-corporate video.
You'll just die on everything. So like we got the guy like lifting the box, but then like his asshole falls out, and like when he's lifting the box,
Isn't there a German video like that already? No, isn't there like a fucking German safety video in a warehouse thing? And
But
that guy gets his head cut off.
if
and
it's
all
German,
kinds of
it
shit.
doesn't count.
Yeah, if it's
Because
German, it
we're in
doesn't count.
America.
Okay.
Yeah.
America.
I guess.
America.
Yeah.
But yeah, like corporate video, it's weird because like I realized after leaving that job that I probably should have got paid more.
Yeah.
But entry level though, like first job out of college.
No,
so
that brings up an interesting thing. Like with you saying that you should have got paid more. How do you normally approach payment? Like, do you have a good system for that, or you just like fucking just kind of see what they offer?
That's tricky, actually. It's like, especially in the Midwest, you never know it really does. It's the worst place to do this. You never know when someone's going to pull some like bullshit about not paying you or how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple guys that I work for, and usually I'll just tell them what the job is, and they say, we'll throw this number at them. So I usually do that, and it works reasonably well.
Like, do you haggle with that, or you just like go with whatever they offer?
so you have like people you work with as like a crew, like as a production, or?
Well, yeah, whenever like the budget's big enough for them to like bring me on. I started working for I don't know if you ever heard of Justin Cardoza, but he's based out of Springfield, and he does he's done Naked and Afraid and American Ninja Warrior, so he's done all kinds of cool shit.
That's tight.
Yeah, so anytime he gets a job around here and his budget's big enough, he'll bring me in. So that's who I've learned my stuff from, him and Joseph Giddens.
Cool.
But yeah. So usually that's how I do my payment. I just all videos are so varied, and then you have everybody.
Yeah.
It's a Midwestern. Well, it's kind of everybody's mindset, but it's like a Midwestern mindset that it's like, oh, well, you're shooting our music video. Well, that's good, like recognition for you. So you don't need money, right?
That's the same fucking shit if you're playing shows like as a local band.
If musicians
Yeah.
told me that, I'd be like, you're a hypocrite, but I get it.
like we
Like,
as like when I was playing shows and shit, like with local band, like we would play like a 6-band gig, whatever the case may be, and we got paid $25, not each, but period, to split amongst six fucking bands. Like I think we bought.
You buy beer afterwards.
We bought Taco Bell. We bought $1 fucking tacos. Because it was so fucked up. Like, I just, the whole, it's good exposure for you. Like, are you fucking kidding
Exposure.
me? Like,
I want an artist in music or video production to write down the number of times that a client tells them exposure. And I think that'd be an interesting statistic by the time they died.
it's 145,000 in a fucking month.
Oh, man.
yeah, depends. Depends how long they go before their soul dies.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, over the years, with as jaded as we have become, like the thing that I want most, like right now, like as a producer of content, is just to produce something that I am happy to have put out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I can stand behind it and go, you know what, this is some really fucking good shit. Like that's what I want.
Yep.
That's all I care about right now. I mean, yes, of course, the pay, I would really enjoy that, but like mostly, it's really about being able to stand behind a product.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I mean, if we're doing that on a fucking no string budget, I mean, sure, whatever, as long as it's content that we can be fucking proud of.
Yeah.
You know, fuck it, let's do it.
yeah, I'll just fucking. Well, you know, we just need to start saying really racist and sexist shit all the time, and then get advertisers, right?
It's not
like
us.
that's what we got to do.
It's not us. It's
Yeah,
the
just
character.
start
The
doing
character
that.
says those things.
Oh yeah, we gotta make a character say
Yeah.
those things. Yeah.
Like, I think you should sweeten up.
Wait, I
should
just said
sweeten up
that,
the
and now
dialogue.
it sounds like it sounds sarcastic.
Yeah, it does.
And now I'm just
fucking-
gonna. I
you're
just
fucking
fucked
sexist,
myself. I
racist, you
totally
son of
just
a
fucked
bitch.
myself. Wow.
Like, you should go back and tweak the script and just like throw some colorful
Yeah.
metaphors in there.
Yeah, just toss in the N word somewhere or something.
Why not? I mean, you know, just add a little controversy.
Just,
in there.
yeah. I don't know,
We
man.
have two potentials that we're
I don't know.
flushing out.
Yeah, I've got a few scripts written and some sketches, some comedy sketches.
Yeah.
The comedy sketches are kind of the hardest because that requires, like, it's weird because it could require more resources and a set and, like, you know, a lot more logistics to happen. But at the same time, the quality of the materials and logistics and things don't have to be that good.
Yeah.
The only thing that has to be good is the people acting the parts. So, like,
Delivery is important.
it's a weird, the delivery of it, and it's a weird, like, it's a weird thing. And then we've got this other shit that, like, I can write, like, you can't really write good comedy just in the woods, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of hard to parody nature. Like, what are you gonna do? So like,
Situation.
which actually just reminded me of,
You can do situational comedy, like, you know, you're in the woods
Yeah.
and, you know,
And you're like,
hilarity
"Fuck you,
ensues."
squirrel.
Like, yeah, like a fucking badger jumps on your nuts or something.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like
Or a
that.
duck bites your dick.
A duck might-
Dry duck.
If it was a duck, it'd bit your dick.
So yeah, so the serious shit is kind of the harder or the kind of the easier locations to get.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you still have to have good actors in that as well, but I don't know. I think the direction is kind of more important than
Like,
the acting. When it
For
comes to-
this film that we're talking about
That
doing
kind of shit.
most recently, like, we just got fucking fed up and we're just like, you know what? If we can't get anyone else to help us with this, we're just gonna fucking do it. Period.
yeah,
like,
we're gonna act it out and everything if we
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah, like we will be.
which I'm fucking terrified of. But
I think,
I'll
dude,
do it
you
if
were
I have
doing, you were
to.
doing pretty good at the read-throughs,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah. I wish you were.
Yeah.
Oh.
Burn.
I'm a horrible actor.
No, but yeah, if we can, you know, that is not resource intensive. So I'm like, fuck it, we're doing that first, and then, you know, whatever.
Yeah, springboard from there.
But yeah, if I can, like, those, there's at least one comedy sketch that's really pretty damn good.
And we talked about doing comedy sketches and shit for the show too, for the podcast.
Audio sketches are like fucking hard to write.
Yeah, they are. Well,
They're
we had a couple
really
of
hard to write.
good ones going there. A couple of false commercials and shit. And,
Yeah, we could start them,
Yeah.
and then, you know, and then, like, I read it and I read through it and I'm like, oh, I didn't laugh that whole time. Why didn't I laugh that whole? Oh, because it's shitty. That's why.
Dude,
the
no,
idea sounded funny.
that one that I came up with, I think might be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one. I don't want to mention it in case we do
Oh,
it. The,
well, let's edit this out.
no, the one. Yeah. That
Oh,
one.
okay.
That one.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the big thing is basically we don't want to get stagnant anymore, and it's just about putting out content that we actually enjoy and believe in.
Yeah.
Because, like, really, as artists, not having that creative outlet is like fucking death. Like, it truly is. Like, you feel that drive to produce, and if you don't, like, it really eats at your life in ways you never really thought that it would.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you need that outlet.
Yeah.
Bam, no segue. Awkward weddings?
Did you have any?
Shooting weddings?
Any bridesmaids?
I've had a few. I've had a few fucking weird weddings that I shot. It's really fucking cool ones too.
Anybody fighting at a wedding?
No, nobody fighting. I haven't seen it.
Anybody strapping a GoPro to like a bottle of Fireball? I think I saw that.
No, I haven't seen that.
Wow,
That was in a wedding once.
that's pretty amazing. I had a. It's weird having those like really long, like Catholic weddings where people like kneel and they get up and you're like, who's gonna watch this shit? I kind of wonder about like when I was like younger and I had like those fucking just get really into some cause and like
What was the cause you were into as a kid?
and it, like you get intoxicated into like
What were you drinking?
I really wasn't into anything other than staying alive.
Yeah.
But
You're like the Bee Gees.
yeah. Well, like okay, so just nostalgia in general. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have like these movies about the '60s or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then what does that do to someone now, like younger generation that has like they can't like there's no way you can contextualize with as much information as
No, wait.
have,
Are we
right?
talking 60s like
So, like-
documentary or 60s just movies in general? Like fucking
revolution,
Valley of
like
the Dolls.
fucking just that idea, like that fucking like you know, the protests at colleges and the fucking Million Man March and all that kind of shit. You know,
Shit,
like
dude.
you have like you have that that like you look back on that and you're like, holy fuck, that must have been an amazing time to be living in.
Yeah. It's an amazing time to get STDs.
And it's kind of almost like
It is.
you know, you're trying to recreate that or something, but it's
Sort of.
like, but it's like you're already, because people like say stuff like, you know, white privilege, and yeah, okay, sure,
Dude, I
sure,
wanna-
there's white privilege, but guess what? There's American privilege. Like, if you're
Yeah,
just
I think
in this
American
country
privilege is-
at all,
Yeah.
like you're pretty well off. like
I would love to see a mixed multicultural fucking Million Man March on Washington D.C. where the whole fucking message is, see all these people? Yeah, we're cool with them. That's it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking it.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna get that. We're gonna be like fucking blah blah blah. They need this and who needs that and don't say this and don't say that. Like, and we're gonna just further divide ourselves further and further along the line. There's gonna be more fucking hatred on both sides. It's,
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, it's like a kind of a meta level,
yeah.
because we've gone from people getting fucking, you know, hit with hoses and like just fucking killed in the streets, just fucking straight up killed in the streets,
Yeah.
to now it's like
I think you're talking about Kent State there.
you say, well, yeah, or just shit that happened in the South, or, you know, fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
Just something that used to happen that no longer happens, but when someone references something happening or makes some kind of any kind of reference to the fucking plight of somebody that lived generations ago, it is now just like this sacred thing that, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, and I get it. I get why that's sensitive, but I also like you're trying to create just as much impact with words that are going back and forth than the actions that happened back then.
Yeah.
And I think it's like almost a like intoxicating fucking like I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's like you want to be part of making the world better. You want to
Yeah.
be part of like a battle, a fight. And we're so like we're just so like comfortable.
Yeah,
That it's hard to get.
I mean, I think it is fucked up. Like seriously, like white people need to chill the fuck out. Every black dude is not going to try to mug you. Black dudes, chill the fuck out, because not every fucking white dude thinks that you're like a fucking gangsta ready to steal your shit.
Right? Yeah.
Just everybody, just be chill. If you can fucking do that for 5 minutes, that would be awesome.
And then in Portland, the reverse is true.
The meth heads actually steal your shit. Actually, people will still be afraid of meth heads because they
meth heads
everybody
are bad,
should be scared of meth heads, no matter what color.
You gotta be careful around meth heads.
They are dangerous.
Be careful. There's like one in about 40 that won't. But
don't feed them in the wild.
They want more meth.
Cover your picnic basket.
So yeah.
Oh my god, we should do a whole video series of what to do when you encounter a tweaker in the wild.
So yeah, everything else.
Do not make eye contact. Fall on the ground and curl yourself into a small ball. The tweaker will eventually lose interest. Oh wow, yeah, that's pretty intense. But yeah, like seriously, I just fucking, like, if I had one wish for us as a country, is that we would just chill the fuck out, man.
Yeah.
I think that, but there is I think that's like biological to some degree. Like we have we're too comfortable. That's the problem.
Yeah,
we're too fucking comfortable. I think there's a biological kind of need to have that antagonism.
Yeah.
Like there's no survival mechanism left to.
Oh, especially now when you're fucking glued to your phone 90% of the time, and like popularity, and likes and shit equate famous. Like you don't even have to have any works. You just, as long as you got enough fucking clicks, that makes you a star.
Right. Yeah. You can really be just a generally fucking terrible person and then
Speaking
be president.
When this podcast finally hits a media that involves clicking, just make sure you click like.
Yeah,
and
just
subscribe.
click like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
See, he's in on it. Yeah. He's the best guest we've had so far because he said like and subscribe.
We don't have a like and subscribe thing yet, but we will.
Yeah.
Someday.
Well,
And when they do, like and subscribe.
Do it. I'm sorry, what were we saying?
I don't know, because I kept trying to loop this conversation back around to what you do. And it didn't end up happening.
Related to traveling out of country.
Yeah.
Also what we're talking about. I think if the like hardcore PC culture and like really anti white male culture, I guess, if they at least invested a little bit of time seeing what life outside of America is like, or even better yet, travel firsthand out of country to see what other countries are like, then they, I feel like, would realize that they're living in a fantasy land. Like, no matter how shitty you have it in America, you're in a fantasy land. Like,
yeah, and that's one thing I wonder about, though, because a lot of that stuff, like a lot of funding for stuff like that comes from the left. A lot of, the Syrian refugee crisis, just in general, like it was the left saying, let these people in the country, and the right saying no, well, not really the whole right, just the fucking crazy ass orange guy, but like, so there's this like attempt at sympathy for that. But where the fuck does it break down? Where does it break down to the point where they don't kind of see outside of like their worldview, like somebody who's, and I always like do this like they thing, like
who's they?
Yeah, who is they? It's probably not you if you're listening, or maybe it is, or send your hate mail to Contextually Yours Podcast
at gmail.com.
But like, where do you think like it breaks down, like between, because those people are supportive of, helping people in those countries, right?
Mhm.
Like, so.
That, again, I also think that breaks down to they're supportive about it. Like, a lot of them are supportive about it on Facebook, or they'll, like, say, oh, man, Trump's really fucking up. He won't let anybody in. But what are they doing about it? Like, how many people are actually doing anything about the Syrian refugee crisis? And so that. But I know what you're saying, because it is, you typically think it's more like the left that wants, like, refugees and
What do you think about that? That whole the theory that terrorists would be able to sneak in with the refugee population.
I'm like for vetting. I think it makes sense. I don't know why you wouldn't vet, because I mean it's definitely like that's what's happened to Israel anytime they've let refugees in. Kaboom. And it's obviously, like, I've seen refugees, I've seen the refugee kids. I feel really fucking terrible for them, and I want the best for them, and I'd love for them to be in America. That's why I'm working on that. But it just it sucks that the world is so fucked up that there are terrorists hiding, in that. But I think it's a realistic
I think
thing.
everybody generally agrees that that's true, that you want to vet people coming in. You want to make sure that,
Yeah, so I think it's delicate how it has to be handled, but
that's the weird bit, is how do you vet somebody who just completely and utterly came out of the woodwork and you got jack shit that you know about them, like, at all, and no way to actually trace that back. How do you go about doing that?
Right, but then where does that break down in the concept of a free country and that whole, like, where do you sacrifice, like, where do you draw the line with security to the point where you sacrifice liberty? Where do you know what I mean? Like, that's the same. So, like, anybody that, that's a risk, and that's a really fucked up risk, and it's really not something that should even be on, like, have to happen.
Yeah.
And it probably
it's the
won't.
fucked up reality that we live in.
Right, but I mean, we do have those processes. We
Yeah.
do vet people. Like, we
True.
do have that.
Well, so
already.
like, my other weird argument with that whole thing, like with like Trump blocking refugees and all that kind of stuff, or like putting on bans from certain countries and stuff like that, and people saying this is outrageous and this has never happened and blah blah blah. Well, that turns out to be complete and utter bullshit. And there's been like several presidents in a row who have done that, and then that's actually under presidential powers for the president to be able to limit the influx of refugees.
just
so,
media
like,
spins again.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
goes back to
Well, nothing prompted it this time, though.
Other than like the world.
Other than straight up racism. Like,
State your facts.
Nothing. Okay, so as far as I know, well, at least with when Obama did it with Iraq, it was because there was evidence that there were terrorists in the U.S. Like, there's actually evidence that they found something, so they fucking banned it.
So what about the evidence of terrorists having training camps in Mexico and then coming across the border?
So
But we don't do anything about that. But then we've also got supposedly, now granted I'm not in the military or any other government
Right,
branch,
yeah.
but supposedly we have reliable intel that the refugee population was planning to be used as an infiltration device for terrorists. Like, so like what, how do we handle that?
Yeah, and I mean it is like
I'm not saying that's not the case.
Yeah.
But what prompted this most recent?
Apparently that was, according to the White House officials, that was actually an Obama plan. Like, those specific countries were actually cited by President Obama as being used in a potential ban, but that particular ban did not go in place under him, but Trump enforced said ban. I'm not pro-Trump in this at all, but I'm just saying that's the facts that people tend to not give a shit about.
But what's kind of weird about it is it took the guy only taking office to say, let's ban these countries.
Right,
Whereas,
but like also, where's the
I
flip
don't
side?
know.
Where's the flip side with him not actually selecting those companies, or those countries, and those being selected by the previous president? But like, those didn't get enacted.
Oh, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't think it may have there may not have been a reason to enact it. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Is like those may have been countries on a list of like, hey, this is where terror cells are fucking growing and whatever.
Yeah.
Probably because we droned the fucking shit out of them.
I'm sure that has a contributing factor.
Yeah, probably because we dropped so many fucking bombs on them. But yeah, so that's why those terror cells are growing, and they're on this list. Well, until we have a reason to believe that this is going to be a problem, then we're not going to enact this ban.
So
Right,
but
like, that would be sensible.
With national security agencies already going ape shit over those particular areas too. Like I guess, like once again, it comes back to that whole like protecting the nation versus securing liberty for immigrants like all at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up. There's no easy answer to that.
Yeah.
There's yeah.
So we are a country, of course, built on immigration. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're-
Take any
if you're fucking
issue.
European, you immigrated here. Native Americans, I'm sorry, you bitches came across a land bridge. Just saying.
If you take any issue
You were
that
here
is complicated enough, just pick one side or the other, and
Yeah.
staying in the middle is not gonna get you any traction on anything political in the media, or if you actually say, hey, this is a fucking really complicated issue and we're not really sure how to deal with it, so we should talk about it, no one's gonna fucking listen. But if you say, hey, this is it, then
Yeah.
it's just a media frenzy. Like if you pick a side on any issue like that,
Yeah.
media frenzy, and everyone's fucking right at it. And so it's basically like we've just given a lot of people who have intellectual weapons a target that they can't hit.
Yeah.
It's just that's all it is now.
While we're on the topic of,
Two-faced cocks.
well, previous topic, I guess. So I guess we're not on the topic anymore now that we're on two-faced cocks. But going back to, I don't remember what we're going back to. I'm too tired. But the more that I've come to learn about the UN, the more that I've realized it's all like a bunch of fuckery. It's like some weird stuff that I've learned. We interviewed like quite a few Christian refugee families,
Yeah.
and they all said that when they were filing for refugee status, and like some of them were like pastors, and then some of them were Muslim converts, which is, in the Middle East, generally, if you're a Muslim convert, it's like not good at all for you, because depending on like how, if you've got a more radical family, like they don't want anything to do with you, or death is related,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And that's the Coptics, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Coptics. Mhm. And so they, like people like pastors or Christians like that are converts, should be like they have a place higher on the list to move, like to America or Australia, Europe, somewhere faster.
Yeah.
But they all of them that we interviewed that were all Christians, they said that the UN made them put that they were like Shia Muslims on.
Seriously?
Yeah, which is really weird. Also, I don't remember if it was Mosul or Aleppo, but I remember Assad had it like completely surrounded, and I don't know if they still are, but for a long time the UN was dropping in supplies for fucking forever, and they said it was for the civilians left in Mosul, but it's completely ISIS controlled. Like, do you really think any citizens are getting any of those supplies? Like, what?
That's like a common practice too, isn't it? A lot of those, like, where like there have already been like an infiltrated and taken over state, we've still dropped a shit ton of like fucking supplies and stuff, and it just gets.
How do we explain that? Like, give us your reasoning.
It's a goddamn line item on a fucking spending bill, like where you have to justify spending XYZ money so that you get XYZ money next time around. So they don't even give a shit at that point. It's already on the fucking books that we're going to drop XYZ supplies over in XYZ location. So who gives a fuck that we'll go ahead and drop that shit regardless of who has it, so that we can afford to have that money in the budget next time.
There's a lot of moral ambiguity in fine details and just about anything administrative when it comes to global politics.
It's the morally ambiguous duo.
It's like, yeah, it's fucking insane. It's just people trying to run the world.
Yeah.
It's just fucking dumbass humans trying to run the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just praying that aliens come down.
Well, that's the deal,
Take
man.
us out.
Fix all this shit.
This sounds all hippie and shit, but man, if we would stop trying to fuck each other over, maybe we could have a chance at being like a fucking united species, but
Never.
We got
happened.
enough money and resources
sure we do.
that we wouldn't have to, like, keep doing that shit.
Yeah. Technology's kind of at a level where we can make that happen. I mean, the fucking internet. Who would have thought, like, fucking 50 years ago that you'd be able to talk to somebody across the country, or across the country, let alone across the world, real time?
Yeah.
And who would have thought that after so many years of talking to that person across the world, that they would be justified in their belief, or feel justified in their belief that the world was flat?
Yeah.
And imagine if we told those people what we do with these cell phones that have
Yeah.
like unlimited knowledge.
I'm more of a hollow earther, really.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
The Nazis on
Hey,
the
man,
dark
you
side
gonna-
of the moon.
Hey man, you going to the Hollow Earth party?
Really?
No, man, I'm going to the Flat Earth
Ladies and
party.
gentlemen, it's all just a hologram. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, why is quantum theories of like the holographic universe not considered a conspiracy theory?
I don't know why it's not.
I'm sure some
considered a
people
religion.
do.
I think it should be a religion. Really?
Could be.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Gotta research it.
let me get my 501c3 on that one.
Yeah, let's start that one.
The first church of the hologram. That'd be beautiful. Be a beautiful religion.
Yeah.
They are rebooting the Matrix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a perfect time to start one, man.
Yeah.
Coincided with the release of the Matrix.
Oh my god. That would-
And I say unto thee,
and like,
drop the tabs of LSD that are under your pews into your mouth and pray to our God Science.
yeah. I think Max Headroom would be like the prophet.
Yeah?
Yeah. Kind of thing. You're too young for that. You know? Do you remember Max Headroom?
I don't.
No, you do not.
I think I've heard the name.
It's all right. It's all right. It was a TV show way back in the day, probably before you were born. That it revolved around this like AI unit that was like a floating head. And, like it was full of like artifacts and shit, and you'd like stop and like, you know, like jitter and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was what the fuck is
What was
the
the
name of
TV
that
show?
dude? Max Headroom.
Oh.
What the fuck was the name of the guy? The guy who played him, he's actually a, like, you know, well-known actor.
Michael Caine.
If only.
That'd be pretty great.
Max Headroom. Who the fuck was the name of that guy? He was a fictional character, of course, blah, blah, blah. Fictional British artificial intelligence character, known for his wit and stuttering, distorted, electronically sampled voice. He was introduced in 1984. Played by Matt Fuhrer.
Matt Fuhrer.
Yep. Not Fuhrer. Wow. This suddenly turned very interesting.
Wait, do you work at 9 tomorrow?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was gonna say.
Goodbye, bitches.
Yeah, so we're going to start doing some customer service PSAs
Sure.
on this podcast, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
Because people don't understand how customer service works.
yeah, like that, you know, you're talking to a person.
People don't get that.
Yeah.
No. And, like, they're rude assholes.
Man, that is the worst. Anything dealing with customer service.
Yeah. Because
People are fucks.
People are shit.
Like if you're going to cuss somebody out, cuss out like one of those salespeople.
Yeah. Why the
Like,
very bottom of the food chain is what they always go for? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Tech support is not your enemy.
It's like we talked about many times before. People get like whether or not you're on the internet, like if you're doing chat or if you're doing telephone, like they get phone/chat balls like right then and there, and they think it's okay to like fucking talk down to you like you're just a fucking plebe, and like it doesn't work that way. Like,
Chat is pretty crazy. There's like people, whatever filter. I think there's a slight filter on phones. What the hell are you doing, dog? The dog is in my lap now. Kind of.
Dog.
But yeah, I think that there's at least a little bit of a filter when it comes to like the phones, because they hear your voice or whatever. I don't think there's any fucking filter on chat. Mm-hmm. And by the way, if you're chatting with someone for tech support or customer service, they are chatting to at least one other person, possibly like 5. So chill the fuck out. They didn't go away. They're still there. Chill the fuck out.
And if you call in to customer support and if you're acting like a cock, I can guarantee you whatever resolve that somebody would have gone to complete fucking bad for you to get ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
You bitch as much as you want. You go fucking talk to the CEO of the company. Do whatever the hell you want. Whatever cool was gonna happen ain't gonna happen anymore.
They won't care.
I worked in a gift shop at a resort for 3 years. The amount of shit that people complained about me to like the salesman or like the ticket prices were too high and not what they were promised.
Yeah.
And just like freaking out, sometimes chewing me out. It's like, why the bottom of the food chain?
Who told you that? Who told you that ticket was gonna be $5? Jimmy? Jimmy's a goddamn liar.
Yeah. We got anything else?
Jesus, like I feel depressed enough right now. Like, what else do you want to bring up? Jesus.
We're gonna expire. Our brains are gonna melt.
Do you want to do the outro?
The outro.
You want to say goodbye?
I don't know. Do you want to say goodbye?
Like, why are you asking me exactly what I asked you?
It's hard to say goodbye.
Goodbyes are hard.
To yesterday.
Hey Dublin, tell everybody the podcast is over. Hey, no.
Oh, jeez. Oh, he just fucked up his head. Oh, man, poor dog. What a way to end it.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep, podcast is over.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys later.
What?
See you guys later.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to another exciting episode of Contextually Yours. Once again, please, if you feel the need to say hi, goodbye, fuck you guys, you're racist sons of bitches, we hate you, feel free to do so at contextuallyyourspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night.
Contextually yours.